You know, Tekla, I had a feeling that's what you were going to say. Hey, guys, I haven't actually been on here for a few days using my microphone and stuff. So let me know if you're not hearing me, I guess. I guess if you respond to this, that'll tell me all I need to know. I've discovered when I'm swapping back and forth between my work setup and home that it actually messes with my settings on Streamlabs. So I should be just using like some sort of other video recorder or whatnot, but whatever. Anyways, hey guys. So once again, things are going to be a little bit different in here because I just spent the last 4 hours wiring a ceiling fan and LED light fixture and all that. So now that I have that up, I think the lighting's a little bit better in here. So instead of having like the lighting off and my little LEDs in the background, now I've got this light above me instead. So we're making progress. We're getting there. In fact, let me pull this up. Hang on a second. Yes, I haven't had to deal with pigeons doing that for a while. Honestly, we don't have any pigeons around here. We've got a lot more seagulls than pigeons over here by the water. Too much light? We don't want to see you that clearly? Yeah. Yeah, no, the beard is going going kind of crazy. So, never grow up, guys. This is what I'm discovering. I was telling one of my sons this. I'm like, the thing is, before today, I had never wired a single thing in my life. Like when I was a kid, I had wired things like if I had an electronics device where wires separated and you have to like twist them back together and put some electrical tape around them, whatever. The we grow. No, I can't braid this. This hair is very coarse. It doesn't braid. No. Hey, Vernon, we have pigeons, but like they're not around here. So over where I'm at, we've got like deer and shit walking through the backyard. We've got squirrels running around. We got raccoons. Probably some little black bears here or there. Although I haven't seen a bear in like the last 10 years. Once in a while, you'll get like mountain lions and stuff come down. But in general, most of Washington, the pigeons are really just in the cities. So if you're not in the city, there's not really pigeons around. No gamer crap. That's because this is the home office. So we've got both computer desks over here. If I'd put my computer on that wall behind me and then had this wall empty, I might have been able to put some weird like Funko Pops or some shit on the wall. I might still at one point. I might swap. I might go put this over by the kitchen on that wall over there. But no, okay, so there was like this really super old like dimmer switch and a chandelier type fixture in here because this is technically a dining room that I'm in. So there's a dining room by the kitchen, and then this is the formal dining room, right? Well, I knew right away I was going to use this place for the office. I didn't want the freaking chandelier. It's like something from the 80s. It's like this antique or whatever. So I saw the ceiling fan LED combo at Costco, right? Because everything's at Costco. So hang on, let me show you. This guy right here. Okay. It's super cool. No, I've done the green screen thing. The green screen thing, it doesn't work in here very well. A butt plug. I can promise you, whatever you think you see, it's not that. So anyways, I got this combo at Costco for a pretty good deal. And it's got a ceiling fan, it's got a remote, so I can control the brightness and all that with the remote and everything, right? So very, very cool. Problem is, it's not, hang on a second. We're going crazy here. Problem is that it's not a dimmable fixture. Hang on, we're gonna get this fixed. There we go. So the fixture is LED. The switch is not. The dimmer switch was just a standard dimmer switch for regular incandescent light bulbs, right? So when I finally got this thing hooked up, it started buzzing. The butt plug's invisible. I don't know what butt plug you're talking about, man. Anyways, no, I'm not gonna give you a full tour of the house. Just talking about this room here. So I get this up, and all of a sudden I hear the light buzzing, and I can't quite tell why an LED light would be buzzing, right? I start doing some Google searches and stuff, and apparently it's because the dimmer switch is not wired for LED. So the other thing is that this isn't even dimmable. It's got different light settings, but it doesn't have a dimmer. There's no dimmer on it. All right, so I'm like, I'll just swap out the dimmer. Can't be that hard. So I go to Home Depot. I grab a new light switch and faceplate, voltage detector, all that kind of crap. Come home. have dinner, and then I start working on the Switch. Turns out, turns out the ground is 3 braided ground wires. There's two black plugs, which is what you need for the light switch. But the ground, I don't have anything coming off of it to attach to the light switch. So then after fussing with that for like half an hour, I went back to Home Depot, got one of those little, they call it a pigtail. It's got the little hook on one side and the cable on the other to hook into the ground. But then the little heat seal that I that I was going to put around it and shrink down was too big, so I had to do electrical wire after fussing with it for like an hour. Then the heat seal, cram all the wires back in there, and pray to God that I didn't start a fire. So, no, it doesn't change color. It's just a light fixture. The thing is, it's a lot better as far as like the quality of light than what that chandelier was before, because the chandelier was just these really, it's like the little nightlight bulbs. And, you know, super obnoxious, really, really bright, it was super hot. It had like 10 or 12 bulbs on it. It would get like super warm in here. Yeah, Mari, the last thing I want to do is start an electrical fire. But turn the breaker back on, had everything hooked back up, flipped the switch, it turned on. So far, there's no smoke, no fire, nothing. So, but yeah, that was a fun 4 hours of my night. My computer case got here, though. I haven't even unpacked it yet. So I got, hang on, let me grab this thing. And no, I'm not building a new computer. I don't have that kind of money. Okay. What I got was this, what do they call it? Dark Flash. It's a luxury PC case. I got it for like $70. I'm not sure I'd call that luxury. It's just a glass case, though. It's all white, glass on 3 sides. After 6 years of having my computer covered in stickers in the cheapest case imaginable, I think I paid like 30 or 40 bucks for my case 6 years ago. I want to move all my components, all my LED rainbow unicorn puke shit into that case instead, so I can't afford. No, so I've got 64 gigs of DDR4. I bought that like 2 years ago. I think my 64 gigs of DDR4 cost less than $200, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember what I paid for it at the time. But it's the Corsair LED light-up RAM sticks, and it's 64 gigs. Don't want to kumbaya your house when you barely moved in. No, man, if I'd have thought I was going to start a fire, I wouldn't have done it. I'm building an old computer then, yes. Well, it's the computer that I'm using here. The thing is, I've upgraded processors in this computer once or twice, and I've upgraded the graphics card, and I've expanded the power supply, and I went from 32 gigs of RAM to 64. The only thing I haven't done is actually start from scratch with a new motherboard and processor. Dude, Avernum, I've seen those memes. It's pretty funny shit. All right, so let me see here. But yes, building the old computer into a new case. It seems counterproductive, I know, I'm sorry. It probably sounds kind of retarded, but I'm over here like, I want to tinker with something, and I can afford to put it in a new case. I can't afford to build a new computer. Oh, Mari, it's insane. The price that they're all going to get to is absolutely mind-boggling. Well, sudden drop in supply and sudden drop in competitors. I mean, really, the problem is the fact that there's not going to be competitors for it. That's the real issue. 2028 might be the year I build a PC. So if you kind of base it off of what we've seen already, it's very possible that things will even out sooner than that. It's going to require a lot of the market correcting, though, because the one thing we've known since COVID, since 2020, is once prices go up, they rarely go back down, right? That's the unfortunate thing about life. And it's not just one thing, it's everything. I mean, hell, I'm finally paying under $4 a gallon for gas. Let me see here. All right, so I think I've got all my freaking tabs brought up. Dude, I spent so much time fussing with this light fixture tonight, I didn't even have any time to make sure I had everything I wanted to talk about. AI centers are taking all major companies decide to produce for AI centers and not for household PCs. Right. So, Mari, what I'm thinking is going to happen is more and more people are probably going to start buying pre-built PCs because as long as the guys who are making pre-builds can keep their prices down, that will at least make it possible. Like, okay, for example, oh, excuse me. You can go, I hate to say Costco because I know you guys already know I live at Costco. You can go to Costco right now. They have computers whose parts are probably worth $2,500 or more, and they're selling that same computer for $1,500. Unless a new competitor comes along to undercut the big ones out of spite. Yeah, but Vernum, how do you start? Like, how do you get into the RAM manufacturing market? Right? I wouldn't even know where to begin. Where does that competition come from? You know, not sure if I should buy one now or in a few years. So I don't know. I've seen conflicting opinions on this. I've seen some people say that the price will drop down in a couple of years. You know, you can either panic buy now or you can wait and eventually they'll come back down. I don't know that I believe that. And then there's the other people that say, hey, buy it now because even if you pay $400 now or $500 now, which sounds insane for a couple sticks of RAM, it could be double that in 3 years. So, I mean, I would say if you have the money, buy it. The problem is, it's kind of like anything else in life. If you buy it today, it could drop in price tomorrow. Hell, I went to Home Depot to get this stuff to wire this light, and freaking all the Christmas lights that I just spent $100+ on or $200 on are all half off, right? Because now it's closer to Christmas. Taminsky, I got trust issues with. I heard he's a trend chaser. You know, I'm right there with you. And it's not because he didn't make. I know Grums is a contentious topic. I'm not a fan, and I don't believe he'll ever finish that game. But compared to guys like that, I mean, Taminsky, CI Games made a complete finished game with Lords of the Fallen, and then they definitely tried to revamp and polish parts of it. The only issue I have is Lords of the Fallen, when I first tried playing it, just wasn't that fun. If it was a small 20% increase, maybe it would stick, but when it's tripling and more, it needs to drop, yeah. That is true, DB Wild. And they also didn't pay what they're going to pay in a year for those RAM sticks in those computers. So, Mari, that's the thing. There's never a good time or bad time. I mean, hell, if we that whole hindsight bias thing, right? Uh, we could all save a lot of money if we knew what the price was going to be tomorrow, but unfortunately, we don't. So let's go ahead and we'll jump over to this first topic only because I want to get going here. I don't know how late I want to stay up tonight. My kids are having some friends over tomorrow, so definitely don't want to be up way too late. Grums, I don't feel that fella. Yeah. No, I mean, I laugh when people make fun of him, like when they share memes about, yeah, finish your game, because I agree. But most of the people that hate him are people who would also hate me. But we just all kind of get lumped in all together. Oh, yeah. Crypto boom graphics cards went up in price and never came back down. That's true, but to a degree, you can still get really good deals on graphics cards if you shop around. I mean, when the 9060s came out, they were $350, and that's what I'm using. The 9060s are pretty good cards, but I mean, I was trying to, dude, freaking Newegg. I was on Newegg on day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the whole weekend, trying to get these graphics cards that they had on sale, right? They had a 5070 Ti, I think 5060 Ti, 5070 Ti for like $200. And they sold out within 30 seconds of them going live. The likes of JDA get lumped in with Together with You and Grums. Yeah. What does he do for work? Posts on Twitter. That's what he does for work. So Black Cat, I don't know. I can kind of give you the synopsis of where he stands with his game because once in a while, the people, his detractors, people who are like terminally like obsessed with Grums, it's kind of like the people that hate on Smash JT, people that hate on anybody else. It's one thing if you disagree with somebody like, I don't like Grums. I think he's a scammer. I think he's dishonest. I think he's basically just, he's just chasing trends. Kind of like you were saying you were worried about Merrick Tominsky with this whole anti-woke stuff, worried about chasing trends, right? So with Grums, it's whatever. But I'll see like his detractors keeping track of everything he does. So he'll be like doing updates on their Discord server. He'll be talking about a patch they're going to put out for Ember or a demo or whatever. And 6 months later, it still hasn't come out. And eventually the demo comes out and it's dog shit. It's complete, like, it's awful. You wouldn't play this game if it was free to play, right? It's that kind of quality. And then it'll go like another 6 months and nobody hears a word about the game. Unless you're part of the Discord, and even then people say all the time that they mention stuff on Discord. They try to talk to Grums and get updates, and it just doesn't happen, right? So at the end of the day, what he does for a living is post on Twitter. He gets his Twitter revenue. He goes around and he spends his days, quote tweeting and sharing news that other people have already found half the time about, big stories and topics and stuff. But I think he still has like membership subscriber pack type things for Ember, where basically it's like donating and support each month. I don't know. I can't imagine anybody actually still supports his game financially. Pretentious prick, and I feel a lot of people who initially gave him a shot later learned it. DB Wild, you're talking about me. A year and a half ago, I was like, oh, this guy's all right, whatever, I was defending him. When it comes to gaming, I'd rather side with regular gamers, right? If it wasn't for the crypto boom, I bet a 5090 would be $800 today, probably. I mean, 5090 is currently what, like $1,500 or some crazy shit like that? Yeah, it's nuts. All right, so speaking of Marek Tyminski and all this other insanity, you got Kotaku here 3 days ago, because he totally pissed away Gold with Firefall. Now I see him screwing around with this Ember BS. Dude, Black Cat, just go on YouTube and look at a demo. Just watch 30 seconds of a demo of Ember. It looks like the shittiest, most basic, rudimentary mobile game designed by like a 10-year-old that you could possibly imagine. And honest to God, I wonder, how is this real? Like, beyond everything else, but beyond the $600,000 that he crowdfunded for the game, beyond people that, say he wouldn't give him a refund, or people who say that he's just continuing to scam them, like take all those other things like out of consideration for a second. If you just look at what has been produced for the money, I don't quite understand. I don't get it. It's one thing to be like, okay, well, I didn't give him my money. I don't care. Whatever happens with the game happens, which is more or less where I am. But it's fun to poke fun at the guy because he's always criticizing other games and he has yet to make the game, right? But when you look at the quality of the game, you go, who actually wanted this? We talk about Highguard. Highguard is a game that was made by former Titanfall and Apex Legends devs, and it's already being dubbed like Concord 2 or Concord 3 at this point, right? Because it's another PvP hero shooter with god-awful, ugly characters that nobody asked for. So I feel the same way when you look at a game like Ember and you go, was anybody really asking for whatever the hell this is? Diesel Knights only managed to get 526,000. Yeah, I think his crowdfunding campaign, he had multiple crowdfunding campaigns. It's not just one, guys. You can go back and watch Upper Echelon. He covered Grums for quite a while. I know that King Nerd, I think is the name of the channel. I think he did a pretty decent expose going through the history of Grums. I don't remember if Fratenga actually covered Grums or not, but there have been plenty of people who aren't completely unhinged lunatics that have covered the entire situation. There was a lot of money. Price of a secondhand car for a graphics card. Damn, that's crazy. Tyminski wants to make hot women again. He needs to shush and just do it. Don't promise breasts and bottoms and making games. Just do it or not. Right. Exactly. 100%. You'd think it would appeal to mech fans, but it doesn't feel like a mech game. No. Come on. When I think mech game, I think of like, crap, what was the one that was made by FromSoft, the series? I think they've had like 5 games, right? The Fires of Rubicon game. That looks like a mech game. Or Titanfall, those kind of games. Things that are dark and dirty, very, very much like sci-fi, the tech future. No, Ember looks like it was made for 12-year-olds or younger. Armored Core, yeah. That's what, when you say mech game, that's what I'm thinking. Like something that looks badass. All right. Lords of the Fallen Dev promises sexy women, but fans just want better Souls-like gameplay. I think this is more or less, even if this is a misrepresentation of where Marek Tyminski's coming from, that's kind of like the headline that we've seen for the past few days. is that the conversation, for whatever reason, around Lords of the Fallen 2 has steered more into the, is there going to be hot women, than there's going to, you know, is it going to be a better game? Because for me personally, my biggest issue with Lords of the Fallen, the first one, is it just wasn't fun to play. That was it. I just didn't enjoy it, right? That was all I said. I didn't have a problem with the game itself. It ran fine. It seemed decent. I had the lighting was kind of weird. I did notice a lot of like weird blur and pixelation, and I turned motion blur off, so I don't know what that was. Code Violet would be Game of the Year 2026. Oh boy, Black Okami. We're gonna get into the Code Violet thing. That's just crazy. They call him cringe just because they already know the answers to his polls. That's a fair point, Tekla. I think it's kind of cringe that the way that he words some of his polls, part of it could be that he's going from his native language to English. So maybe there's a little bit lost in translation there. Asian mech games with anime style, and there's Western mech games with tanks on legs, two different audiences. Okay, Vernon, but to be fair, does his even look like anime style? It just looks bad. Like just go and watch some gameplay of it. It's not good. And I get it, his game's not done yet, but it's been being developed for like almost 10 years now. Yeah, he was asked and just said yes. This controversy is just manufactured by people still mad about body types A and B. They hate Tominsky for making polls about gender. We're a little cringe. You know what? That's okay. I'll take a little bit of cringe. That's all right. So the problem is that you're right. People did get upset about the fact that he was pushing back against the A and B nonsense. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Type 1, Type 2, Type A, Type B doesn't stop me from buying a game. It's not one of those things where I'm like, I see it and I Hulk out and I get pissed off and angry and I start smashing things. I think it's stupid. I think it's retarded. I think it's cringe, right? The combat felt so floaty. Yeah. You never cared to look up his game? Oh, dude. Oh, no, Mari, it's not epic. Okay, it's all right. Since we're talking about game developers and grifters and people who promise things they don't deliver on, okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull up the most recent gameplay that I can find. I think it's from 8 months ago. Ember June build. Okay, here we go. Now, mind you, this is supposed to be a demo.
Open the call down menu and scan for nodes. Colonies waiting.
Hey, Mahendra.
Gatestrider, Luna here. New Eden's nodes are rich in ferrite, broninium, and grums gold.
Yeah, this is
Call down a thumper
as of 6 or 8 months ago. This I think is the most recent demo build that they have.
See who and swarmers
Thumper
will hit hard.
Inbound.
Keep moving.
I will say, it looks a little bit better on my new monitor I've got, but still disappointing. Even the thumper mechanic. Yeah, I never even knew about Firefall before it stopped existing. That's the craziest part. But see, thinking about this, just looking at this again with the more or less open world mechanic, the flying, the jetpack kind of stuff, Warframe did all this better. And Warframe is 7, 8 years old now at this point. See, to me, other than maybe some actual creative decisions made with the mech, this just looks like asset flipping, which I kind of feel the same way about Code Violet. We'll get into that in a little bit here. Hawken did it better. Hey, Burner over on the Twatter machine. Never played Hawken either. Oh, Mahendra, it needs a lot more work. So that's just kind of like the basic look of the game. I'm not a fan. I played freaking hell. What was the name of the mech game that came out this last year? It was one of those ones kind of like First Descendant where they teased like a lot of the hot women with the big boobs. But then the actual core gameplay was really good. What was the name of that game? Sure, one of you guys will remember. That as far as the gameplay was really set. Mecha Break. Yeah, Mecha Break was really satisfying. The combat was great. That the animations, the character voices, that was all kind of cringe. No, not Armored Core. Mecha Break. Armored Core, I eventually will pick up a copy and play one of those games. But no, Mecha Break was legitimately good. I don't even know what happened to that game. I played it for a day or two. I lost interest with it, and I think so did everybody else, to be honest. Yeah, so I remember because it had the booty had like 4 sliders. Right. So that was the thing. Unlike First Descendant, where it quickly turned into the I hate to say gooning game, but I mean that's really what they pushed was, we have jiggle physics. We have jiggle physics, right? That was really the only drum that Last Descendant was banging. Well, Mecha Break had really good combat. And then I don't know if the game broke after it released. I don't know if it was a matter of like changing core mechanics of the game. I have no idea. I'm easily entertained. Give me a game with nice booty and I'm hooked. Dude, I mean, I wish that that's all it took for me anymore. Back in the day, games like Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball, sure. You know, that would have been perfectly fine for me. Now it's like, no. Give me a character who doesn't look like she's had her face run over by a tractor and good gameplay, and I'm fine. Yeah, if the character's hot, that's an even better, benefit for me. But the problem is, so many of these games, it's like you either get like the First Descendant type of characters or, Abby from Last of Us Part 2. The problem I have with this game is that the art style is generic, realistic, noting nothing memorable. Well, Avernum, it's worse than that because every build, every demo that's come out over the years has made very minimal progress. Like they've just not they've never increased anything to a point where it's actually showing progress. Yeah, Gunner games as a word is derogatory and redundant. Yes, unfortunately, it's one of those things where it's kind of like the incel insult, right? Are there legitimately involuntary celibate people on this planet? Sure. Of course there are. There are people that just can't hook up with anybody, can't find a girlfriend, can't find a boyfriend, can't date, whatever. Is calling anybody who's, right of center or not a complete lefty lunatic an incel accurate? Of course not. It just becomes a slur. It just becomes an insult. I want characters that fit their world, and for the love of God, less Deborah Wilson. Yeah, H. Brown, that's one of those things that people often take out of context and they try to spin it as, you're a racist, you don't like black people, you don't like women. Why do you hate this actress so much? It's because she's black. And you go, no, I don't care who's voicing the characters. I've had this problem for a while. I want less recognizable actors in my games. You can use a voice actor 100 times, 1,000 times, and I don't care because they're voice acting. But I don't want to see Tom Holland in my video game. I don't want to see Deborah Wilson in my video game. I don't want to see Harrison Ford in my video game. I don't want to see Brad Pitt in my video game. Because I want to not have the immersion broken. You create a character from scratch, design a character, and then convince me to like the character. Stop trying to, say, oh, we put, Norman Reedus or whatever the hell the dude's name is from Walking Dead in our game. Aw, puppy wants to come inside. You want in? All right. Don't scream. He got a haircut. He has like no hair left. Last night, I got tired of him shedding all over the house. And so I had to trim his hair. I'm not done with his face yet. I got to clean him up his mustache and stuff a little bit. But he, yeah, dog time. Hey, Equilibrium. He needed to have his hair trimmed. It was so bad. I'm the right type of gamer, a gamer with money. That's exactly the type that they need. Exactly. Haircut for the dog in the middle of December, yes, because he has very long, shaggy hair. It turns into dreadlocks unless he gets bathed and brushed regularly. And his hair around his feet and his legs gets so long. He's got hair growing out of the bottom of the pads. It's really bad. Dude, you just came inside. I'm not going to let you back out. Just lay down. He's over there like, let me out, let me out. Dark Souls community is full of gay bozos, whiny bitches, fighting cowboy. Oh my god, fighting cowboy, yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Deborah Wilson's a comedian, I thought, right? I really don't like the bare bones character creation. I want to see a good character. Yeah. Our beards do match. We have a little bit of white here in the middle. Dreadlocks. It's a Shorky Poo, Shih Tzu Yorkie Poodle. And so his hair gets like really curly and thick, and then it starts to get matted together. He's a stream prop. You gonna lay down? Hey, look, place. The other problem is he's super itchy. Hey. And I wanted to make sure he didn't have fleas from the old apartment. But even with like flea meds and a bath and trimming his hair, because he when his hair gets long, it actually irritates him. So he'll chew really bad and make his skin all raw. I can't say anything 10 times fast. Yo, Cage, Mr. Drunk Vampire, how you doing? No, so he's just kind of a hot mess. Like I said, he's not the dog I picked out. My mom picked him, he picked me. Then I ended up taking him from her just to take him off her hands. All right, I'll let you back out. Go on. Go on. Go. Now he's going to sit at the door and be like, wait, I thought you were coming with me. All right, anyways, there are critics of Marek Tominsky, like we've talked about before. Deborah Wilson's performances in video games are jokes in their execution. Mom did good at 6. Yeah, he's a good dog. And honestly, because he used to go to work every day with us. And then my mom would be like, you know, she'd have to be gone for a week or whatever, and I'd take him home. And then we'd go back, and he'd go back to her place, and then I'd see him at work, and he would immediately go in the office, climb in my chair, and he, you know, wanted to stay with me. I'm like, okay, so 2 minutes later, let me in. Yeah, pretty much. So anyways, there are criticisms of Marek Tominsky and his approach so far that a lot of people have had. One of them being the fact that the game is only going to launch, Lords of the Fallen 2 is going to be on Epic. It's an Epic exclusive. Now, I don't know if that's a timed exclusive. I cannot remember if Marek has ever shed light on whether or not this game's eventually going to go to other storefronts. But this is a game that he secured funding from Epic by making it an exclusive, which he says, you know, promises a better game because he has more money to work with. Which, to be fair, more money doesn't always make a better experience, but money helps. Money certainly helps, right? Hassan would be offended to see how you treat that dog. Yeah. The first one was also on Epic, but was it exclusively on Epic? Equilibrium. QC, the only thing that I do on Epic is download free games. And that being said, I redeem them and then I never install them. I can't remember the last time, if ever. So when I first built this computer, my graphics card came with a copy of Godfall, which Godfall was not the worst game ever. It just was kind of boring. Like at some point you go, it looks really cool. Like at the time I was like, hey, this is not a bad looking game. Combat was decent for a few minutes. And then you just get to this repetitive cycle where you go, I just don't care. Right. So. All Tominsky did say was yes to a question in regards to the backlash. Oh yeah, Cage, 100%. As far as that backlash goes, the journalists completely take everything out of context, right? Yes, I claimed Hogwarts Legacy from Epic, so now I have 2 copies of Hogwarts Legacy that I have yet to play. Epic's the Fortnite launcher, right? Yeah, that's the thing too. I mean, my oldest son, he's kind of giving up on Apex Legends, and so he wants to play Fortnite with my other son. And so he had to install Epic, and I had to set up the whole account, and I'm like, oh my god, I hate Epic so much. Because I had to create all this shit, and then passcode and everything. It's just, yeah. Tominsky's all money over quality and experience. I haven't played Lords of the Fallen 1 since all of the most recent patches. So I need to go back. For the sake of being as fair and objective as possible, I need to go back and play Lords of the Fallen because I have not played it in months. Yeah, Epic launcher is terrible. Hate the fact that Epic lumped the game store into the Unreal Engine launcher, keep getting friend requests from scammers who want to steal my account. Oh my god, Aburnham. I need to... Okay, so my son, my oldest son, He's been messing around with Unreal Engine for about the last 6 months. It's so funny. He's my sports kid. He is the least studious. He reads the least out of all my three kids. My twins are bookworms. The two of them will sit in their rooms for hours and read, and they're 10 and a half. But my oldest kid, he's turning 13 soon here, and he is my gamer. He's my sports kid. You know, he wants to go do something physical. He wants to grow up. He wants to get a job. He doesn't care as much about school. He is decent with like his grades. Don't get me wrong. When he finally learns something, if he's interested in it, he actually can learn. He just has a hard time focusing, right? And so he's been trying to work with Unreal Engine. And now that you mentioned that, I'm like, yeah, I should probably tell him. He knows about scammers. He knows about like people trying to fish for information and all that. But I didn't realize that they were using Unreal Engine to try to do that shit. Yeah, I need to check the 2.5 update. Oh, he's going to play Lords 1 this weekend. You say my friend, Kata. Are we friends? I think we're friends. I don't know. We'll see. If I'm really his friend, I will maybe make myself suffer and go to FatCon with him in January. We'll see. I got like a month left now. Game Boy game development. Yeah, he really needs to get into... he really needs to get into like C++ or any of that kind of stuff too. But again, it's just a little beyond where he's at right now. So yeah, I need to try Hogwarts Legacy. I've yet to actually install it and play yet. Oh, so he'd have better understanding of computer graphics back in the day. Yeah. Yeah, no, they do. They use every platform they possibly can to try to scam you. So this guy here says, nothing says confidence in your game like taking the Epic Game Store exclusivity money where your game can go and die. These devs suck, dude. The culture war shit is so cringe. Just make a good game, the end. I can understand the last statement. Make a good game, the end. Sure. Okay, you don't like culture war shit? Fine, that's, whatever. But this to me feels like, misplaced rage a little bit. Like somebody who's already got a bone to pick with them. So in regards to the Epic exclusivity, let me see here. What was Merrick's original statement? Merrick had said, let's be clear, and this is quote tweeting his post about how they got most of their investment from Epic, right? Majority of PC players who want a specific game will buy it on Epic if it's exclusive there. This is backed by real sales data across all major markets, including North America and Europe, excluding Asia first year after launch. All right. I remember if you ever got black Yeah. I'm never going to mention that to Kata. And if you guys mention it to Kata, I'll deny it. Okay. As a PC player, here we go. An exclusive game on Epic. How likely would you be to purchase? And never. There we go. I got called a Steam fanboy because I said that I just don't buy games on Epic. Some retard on Twitter was like, yeah, you sound like a Steam fanboy. I'm like, well, what is a Steam fanboy? I would buy all my games on GOG if they had more games. I don't care like where necessarily the launcher is. Epic launcher is garbage, okay? Like, it's just straight up garbage. Culture War sucks, type soy boy while sobbing. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. There's no way he knows the game is ass. Not gonna arse him. Fair enough. Like, again, I'm not trying to provoke Merrick Dominski. I want him to succeed, and I want him to do well, and I want the game, if people want to play it, to be on Steam as well. Dude, I don't know what a Steam fanboy is. Dude, you buy a computer or you build a computer. You want to buy computer games, where you go? You go to Steam. It's not like I'm choosing to buy a console that's attached to a specific, online store. Like if you buy a PlayStation, it's because you want to buy a PlayStation knowing that you're going to buy your games from the PlayStation store. There's no such thing as a Steam fanboy. It's just, it's the stupidest thing you could ever say, but whatever. Yeah, we already don't own our games on Steam. I'm not jumping between two. Why shop on two platforms when you don't own your games on either one? Exactly. Wait, you found a guy who hated Steam because Epic gave free stuff, but he bought zero stuff on Epic? That's me. That is literally me. I don't know that I've ever purchased a single game on Epic. Let's see here. Hang on a second. While we're talking about this, I guess I don't have Epic open. Oh, here we go. Epic. I have a couple hundred games on Epic. 2 new friend requests. Ignore. Library. Okay. On Epic, is there a list of how many games? Like, can you see total titles? You've got installed. What do I have installed? That doesn't sound like me. Valorant. Why is Valorant still installed? What the hell? I downloaded Valorant like 3 or 4 years ago to play with a friend who begged me to help her with a first-person shooter, and then I never played it again. Why is that still installed? Oh, it's just the launcher. 70 megabytes. Okay. Yes, uninstall that shit. What the hell? Oh, anyways, games in my library. Library. I have a lot of Epic games. These are all games that I have gotten for free year after year. Hell, I own Ghost Runner 1 and 2 on Steam and got them for free here on Epic. Okay? So obviously I've never even installed them and played them. Hogwarts Legacy, free. Hell Let Loose, free. Let me see here. Hood. Freaking Infinite Factory, I'm not sure about that one. Jotun, you got Kerbal Space Program, Killing Floor 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Shitload of games. Limbo. Just game after game. And I don't ever... When I'm going to play a game... I knew I had a copy of Prey on here. When I'm going to play a game, I typically just open Steam. Because I don't give a shit what's on Epic. Even if it might be a great game, right? It might be one of the best games ever. But if it's on Epic, I don't even think to look for it on here. It's that bad. Like, people just don't care about Epic. Someone clipped Dan ASMR. What? I know. These are all games that I've received for free. I have not purchased a single one. Guys, you got Callisto Protocol right here. Okay? Some poor schmuck bought this game for $60 when it first came out. And I have it for free on a launcher that I never use. That's the craziest thing. I forgot how many games I have on here. This is nuts. Like, and some of them are actually decent games. Yeah, absolutely insane. Are you really watching this instead of the Nothing Burger Epstein files? Oh, no, I see your comment. I just didn't see it before. I was going through my list of Epic, basically like it's a pit that all these games go into that they never come back out of. NS, how are you doing, my buddy? Yeah, I've heard Thief is good. And it's not like, oh, because it's on Epic, I'm not going to play it now. I already own it on Epic, so at some point, if I ever thought about it, I would open it and download it and play it. The problem is I don't ever use Epic. So again, the point being, he's like, oh no, all this data backs up the fact that people will buy a game on Epic if they really want the game and they'll play it. That may be true for people who already know about the game and want it. But if the game is on Epic and somebody hasn't heard about it and they're a PC gamer, they're likely to never see it because the majority of PC gamers don't open their Epic app. They just don't, you know? Oh yeah, I've got Suicide Squad. I have 2 copies of Suicide Squad. I have one through Epic, and I think I got one for free through Amazon. Dude, QC, exactly. I have GOG installed on my computer. I don't even have a shortcut for it because I have like 10 games on there, you know? Was that almost 300 games? I don't know. How did you guys see a number somewhere? I didn't even notice the number. All I noticed was it's a crap load of games. So, okay. NS, let me ask you a question. because I've had a very busy day, very long, very stressful. I tried to wire this light that I have installed here, and it was this 4-hour project. I almost didn't stream tonight because I was down to the wire getting that done. Down to the wire, no pun intended. But um, no, dude, your mom died in the. Oh my god, dude. Sad that I get the joke that you're doing there. NS, was there anything in the Epstein files beyond some photos of Bill Clinton and Chris Tucker and Michael Jackson? Like all I saw was page after page after page of redacted, you know? His claims is bogus. I'm supporting, but I'm gonna buy Lords of the Fallen once it's on Steam. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I'm saying if somebody knows the game is gonna be out and therefore they go, okay, I want this game, I'll buy it on Epic and I'll play it. That's somebody who you don't have to market to because they already know the game is coming and they want it. It's another thing entirely if you say, oh, I'm just gonna open my app today and see what's on sale. Well, people do that on Steam. They don't do that with Epic. A jersey of IDF for some reason. What? Yeah, Cage, exactly. That's what I do. Yeah, there was nothing there. That's kind of how I feel, Desert Fox. You guys are too much. Epic's pandering the left with the removal of master and slave from the UE codebase just pissed off a lot of people. Yeah, Vernum, that feels like forever ago. I forgot about that, but that was definitely a thing that happened too. All right. So that's what he said about it. And the statement Smash said was maybe, but I've never done this, nor do I personally know anyone who has, just speaking from my own experience. That could change over time, but at present I haven't seen it. And I said, I've been a PC gamer for 6 years. I've never purchased a game through Epic. Not one. All those games I showed you guys just now, every single one. I've never purchased a single freaking game on Epic. And it's not like I have some deep-seated, I hate Epic. No, their app sucks, okay? And like you said, their terms of service, some of the language that they use is retarded and cringe. And not free. People are buying it and excited to buy it, says everything. I'd rather pay $10 for it to be in Steam library. Yeah, 100%. Exactly. So, then you get Jade King over here from The Gamer. Lords of the Fallen 2 is already cementing itself as a game for all the wrong people. I almost wonder. Sometimes I wonder if this isn't advertising like for them because of the fact that we're over here talking about whether or not people are going to see this game, have any interest in this game because it's only going to be on Epic. And here's this retard over here, Jade King, this dude who thinks he's a woman, telling people, oh, this is the game for the bad people from WW2. You're a racist bigot if you buy this game. Oh, yeah, true, 100%. Always release your game on every platform possible. And if you know the game is shit and it's not ready to release, don't release it, you know? Hey, Vernum. Well, to be fair, I always assume it's Avernum. It could be Avernum. I don't know. At this point, it's too late for me to change. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. He's a bearded lady. He's a very ugly bearded lady. Lords of the Fallen 2 publisher CI Games made it blatant back in January that it will steer clear of making its games political or including any social elements or agendas in its future titles. Based. Okay. It claims featuring such things runs a high risk of pushing audiences away, and it would rather focus on serious games featuring serious stuff like sexy, scandally. I'm really confused about this spelling here. Hang on. Wouldn't this be? No, can't pop that up. Brave Browser, unfortunately, is going to put up the wrong results. I'm looking for a definition result here. Hang on a second. I can't even do that on stream because I put scantily, it's going to do something it shouldn't do. Is scandally a word? I know what scantily means. Scandally. Scandally. All right, so scandally is not a word apparently, guys. I'm not crazy. Oh my god, this absolute retard. Oh my god. Yeah, I type in scantily clad on Brave browser, and 5 of the 6 pictures it has are dudes in thongs. Like, Brave browser's gay, apparently. Oh my god, dude. I like Brave because it blocks ads and shit, but holy crap. Hey, Lugia, good to see you. Not too much. We're just talking about Lords of the Fallen 2 so far. Getting caught up on all of my retardation. Scandiddy clad, they were thinking of the bulge slider. Well, Brave browser brings up a bunch of pictures of dudes. I guess it makes sense. It's always been behind the 8 ball. They still want to work on their gameplay to make the game memorable. And that kind of sucks. Expect him to be good at his job. I'm expecting somebody that works at this publication to catch his typos. I'd expect that. Whatever you want, I guess, just to make sure to wash your hands when you're done. You thought there was a D? No, scantily clad. Scantily clad. Apparently this dude doesn't know how to type. Yeah, so straight up, we talked about the Gooner game, right? Straight up, the gamer is labeling Lords of the Fallen 2 a Gooner game. This deliberately ignores diverse and inclusive successes like Baldur's Gate 3. Hang on a second. No. Lords of the Fallen, CI Games, did not say we won't have any diverse characters. They didn't say that they wouldn't have gay characters. They didn't even say any of that. They said we're not going to get into political themes and, try to push real world politics into our game, which went on to sell 20 million copies and cherry picks high profile cases like Concord to justify the belief that the inclusion of queer characters and unconventionally attractive women. See, at least they admit that the women in Concord were unconventionally attractive. Actually, they were just ugly as hell. They weren't even unconventionally attractive. They were butt-ass ugly. Modern games are apparently in such a terrible state not because of greedy executives, ballooning budgets, and difficult to sustain development cycles, but because the female characters aren't hot enough. Now, again, I'm somebody here. Every time I make a video, hey, Smeg, every time I make a video covering all of this stuff, especially things like Lords of the Fallen, right? I'm the first person to say, guys, I don't need every character to look ridiculously like sexualized, okay? Again, was it perfectly fine in First Descendant? Sure, it didn't bother me. But the game wasn't very good in my opinion. So at that point, all you have is, well, I'm just looking at a character's butt the whole game. Eventually that gets kind of boring, right? So I'm the person over here going, I'll take a slightly less sexualized or attractive character for better gameplay. I'll take that trade-off. And if you can have both, then have both. I'm totally cool with both. But I just, he wants to say that they're cherry picking, but it's like, no, you guys are cherry picking. Nobody's saying just hot characters will make a game sell, but it doesn't hurt, right? It doesn't hurt to have better looking characters. It doesn't hurt to have better looking armor and better looking weapons. It doesn't hurt to have a better aesthetic in your game. It doesn't hurt to have people making games that are actually talented. It doesn't, like, all these things, none of this hurts, Let us laugh at Piers in the tech. Dude, I was going to make a video about Piers this week, but I ran out of time. The reason that budgets are out of control is due to HR hacks. Yeah, the Cope saying unconventionally. As if Concord's the only issue. Dude, there's so many more issues. But yeah, exactly, Desert. If you're going to have to look at a butt of a character, you want it to be a good-looking butt. Male or female. Now, I'd rather not look at the character's butt. I'd rather have the camera over the shoulder if it's a guy. But, I prefer, like, the big Conan the Barbarian looking guy. If I'm going to be playing a guy, I want him to be badass, The game literally had Amputee Quake cosplayer and Captain Tupperware. Yeah. Well, the problem is Jade King is one of the leftovers from the Alyssa Mercante era of games journalism. People like Ash Parrish over at The Verge, and a lot of these people who have been writing really shitty articles for the past 5, 6, 7 years now, a lot of them are slowly weeding themselves out. Like, you got Luke Plunkett is over there at, like, Aftermath now with Nathan Grayson and shit. So you got a lot of those guys who were the big kahunas in games journalism have kind of gone on to do their own thing. Nobody takes Paul Tassi seriously. No one takes Jason Schreier seriously. We all know that they're just, talentless hacks. They straight up lie in their articles too. That's the craziest part. They will blatantly lie to your face and then try to gaslight you into thinking they're not. But at the end of the day, it's like these are just the last dregs of the games journalists that have been basically doing this shit for years now that are finally starting to weed themselves out, you know? Someone with a family name King ending up at they're all ending up at Aftermath. Yeah. Yeah, not even just attractive, it's the intentional uglification. Hey, Cage, how is your eye doing, buddy? Hopefully it's getting better. Greedy executives and down development cycles. Yeah, exactly. Paul Tassi looks like he has Peter on his... Dude, I had never seen Paul Tassi in a video before, and then all of a sudden, one of his videos popped up on YouTube randomly, and I watched him speak for about 5 seconds, and I'm like, I could not imagine having to sit and watch hours of his videos. Like, unironically, it would have been painful to watch. Mike Pascala, the guy that works for Circana Numbers. Yeah, I mean, he kind of sucks too, but I haven't actually watched any of the videos of him or anything. Oh yeah, there's a lot of factors as to why the budgets get out of control. Let's be fair about that. Why won't Lords just crowdfund? Epic should be a last resort. I don't know. Maybe they felt their game was going to be too expensive for crowdfunding. I mean, crowdfunding is a legitimately useful thing if your budget isn't too high, but if your budget's going to be a lot higher, crowdfunding a few $1,000,000 for a game ain't easy. I mean, there are so many developers out there trying to crowdfund, and if you're a studio like CI Games where you're not indie, but you're not AAA, I think what CI Games is probably considered AA at this point. You might look desperate if you say, hey, crowdfunding for our next game, please help us, you know? Oh yeah, no, I love Eric Kane. Eric Kane is a Democrat from the 90s. Eric Kane has his liberal beliefs. He has a good head on his shoulders. He has logic. He has reason. I disagree with a lot of things on his personal views and politics, but I have never, ever been like, oh, you suck, I hate you. It's like, no, I'll agree to disagree, but I respect his opinion on a lot of stuff. A lot of media, you know. Crowdfunding for a regular Souls-like would also be hard. It would need a more unique idea. Yeah. I hear Acclaim is publishing and looking for game. I had not heard that. All right, so an existing argument that very small yet very loud corners of the game. Oh my god, dude! I swear to God, Alyssa Mercante, she coined this phrase in all of games journalism. Very small, very loud corners of the game development world. Hers, it's like very loud, very very small fraction of gamers. It's like no, it's the majority of us. Cling with unwavering ignorance, and Lords of the Fallen 2 appears to be leaning on it yet again if recent comments from CI Games' Marek Tymiński are any indication. I might just have to buy this game now on Epic and just suffer through having it on Epic. Hyper Light Drifter devs did the same, released a hit game back around 2016, then moved to Cali, bulked up their numbers, did F-All afterwards, and then started begging online recently. Yeah, I tried Hyper Light, whatever the sequel was, that SBI had a hand in. I got a free copy through Keymailer. It was boring as hell. I tried. I really tried, but it was boring as hell. Looking at Jason Schreier's face, you'll have nightmares for days. Yeah. I played the original Lords of the Fallen, and despite some gameplay and visual qualities in need of improvement and a lack of polish, the game had plenty to offer. Was a compelling Souls-like experience with some inventive ideas I'd never seen before, such as a lantern you could shine around the environment to play with alternative realities. Wouldn't it be alternate realities? Alternative? I don't know. I'm just at this point, I'm just being kind of a pain in the ass. Not to mention a robust and weighty combat system. Improving on these qualities would be more than enough for a sequel, but in his pursuit to remove progressive politics and ideas from the game, Tymiński has only gone and made Lords of the Fallen 2 political all over again. How ironic. And of course, he quotes him about the Type A, Type B thing. Within these posts, Tymiński seems to imply that the game perhaps once included a more diverse or even realistic character creator. No. Oh my god. He was addressing the Type A and Type B thing. That's it. Had nothing to do with a more diverse character creator. Oh my god. Anything allegedly woke or progressive was stripped out and replaced with a tool set which mostly restricts players to super buff male protagonists or gorgeous women for them to objectify. Hey, maybe we're going to go back to it being, it would be alternate. Okay, so this guy really can't write. Look, it the occasional week or month that I get a minute to write something, like I did a write up on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's communications director telling that freaking accessibility consultant at the Game Awards to shut the F up. It took me about an hour. I pieced together some information, did some research, typed it up a half a dozen times, and I kind of changed some words around. And then I hit publish and I moved on with my day. And even then, I wasn't happy with my writing. But I think I still do better than Jade King, to be honest. Yeah, it's a terrible misrepresentation of what he said. He never said, we're going to make your character creator less diverse. Here's the thing. We've seen this with a lot of things in Unreal Engine. And again, there was a developer that did a video showing the different mesh and different face models and stuff that they have to work with in Unreal Engine. If the base model that they're working with for a male looks masculine and strong, and the base for a female looks feminine and pretty, you can then take those if the character creator is, good enough, if there's enough detail and options in the character creator, to then make your hideous Shrek-looking character if you so choose. I mean, look at what people have done in Elden Ring. You can make a really attractive character, or you can make a butt-ass ugly monster, like some one-eyed behemoth with like 3 teeth and no hair, okay? So, yeah, Cage, I'm the same way right there. But if you start off with characters being ugly and unattractive and undesirable, and then you have to spend all of your time just trying to make your character look decent, that's counterintuitive. Like, you're going to spend more time just trying to have a character that doesn't look like freaking, a cave troll or something than you would having fun. Hey, now that I've made a normal looking character, let me make some hideous monstrosity over here. No, Jade King needs to stop thinking that the world looks like Jade King. Okay. Notice it's always like a heavily filtered photo. All right. Jade King wants the world to look like Jade King. And that is the inherent issue with articles like this. It's not coming from a place of good faith. It's coming from people who see themselves in an alternate version of themselves that they can never live up to. So they spend all their time on social media with filters and different effects to hide the fact that they're living a lie. I, as a straight man, do not vouch for the I want buff dudes comment. I want my video game character to be buff. I'm not looking for buff dudes in real life. I could find some if I wanted one, but I'm not looking for a buff man. Okay. We're going to get back to that thing I said about getting blacked by Kada, okay? And I swear to God, I still don't think he's actually heard that, so we're going to move on and pretend I didn't say that. Yeah. Let me see here. They did the whole attractive character thing. Within these posts, he seems to imply that the game perhaps once included a more diverse or realistic character creator, but anything woke or progressive was stripped out and replaced with a tool set which mostly restricts players to super buff male protagonists or gorgeous women for them to objectify. If Jade thinks he's a woman, if he honestly thought he was a woman, then he would actually want to be objectified, in my personal opinion. But clearly he knows he's not a woman. Yeah, you know what, NS, I'm right there with you. 100%. Male pattern baldness. Yeah, mine came and said hi a few years ago. Now I've got like these gigantic freaking 5.5 head thing going on. By claiming you're removing content you personally deem as political from a piece of art and replacing it with your own, you're creating a new agenda whether you want to accept it or not. Or you could just say that that's his vision for the game. Dude, if this is from the first game, I need to go back and play this. This looks pretty badass, not gonna lie. Stinks of fake outrage, trying desperately to sell a 7 out of 10 Souls-like by playing up the idea that the modern gaming landscape has somehow robbed straight male audiences of traditional experiences they now have a responsibility to take back. Similar thing occurred with Shift Up's Stellar Blade, which was held up as a symbol of resistance in the modern culture war. The game wasn't afraid to put an incredibly gorgeous heroine front and center whose chest, butt, and overall figure existed as objects for players to obsess over and customize. You can't customize her butt, you can change her outfit. You'd have to mod the game to customize her body. There was a belief among certain audiences that video game critics and progressive gamers were looking to tear Stellar Blade down, believing it stood against the... These people don't live in the same reality as the rest of us. Stood against the DEI agenda, and we've been slowly but surely infecting the entire medium with it, but instead it reviewed incredibly well and sold millions of copies, and now a sequel is even in production. Personally, I enjoyed Stellar Blade and even thought Eve was a fun and attractive main character with loads of cool outfits to unlock. This because you're a guy. You're a dude. You just don't want to admit it. Well, good for you, A. Vernum. Some of us have, but I've been wearing a hat my entire life. That's a big part of it. It's not just jeans. I have been in a food business of one kind or another my entire life. And so when you're in food production, you have to have something on your head. And so I have always had a ball cap on. So they say that that rubs on the hair, right? Rubs the hair off. I'm living proof of that. 6-inch spiked hair. Damn. My hair hasn't been that long and spiked since I was a teenager. Oh, guys, I don't even want to read any more of this. Okay, we're in the last 2 paragraphs. And so the culture war moved on to a new target, and to this day the cycle continues. Lords of the Fallen 2 is a special case, however, because the developers behind the sequel seem to believe that cultivating this movement is going to make their game more successful. Either that or they truly believe in the nonsense they're spouting. This game is not about progressive politics or the agency of players regardless of their gender or politics, but about fierce combat, uncompromisingly attractive female characters, and a world worth getting lost in. The irony is that in Tominski's laughable pursuit of stripping Lords of the Fallen 2 of every single trace of diversity, he has turned the game into an object of political ridicule long before it lands in our laps. It will be remembered for that and nothing more. I don't want to land anywhere near this man's lap. It's primarily in the jeans. Oh, well, shit. I thought it was also a wearing a hat thing. We can pretend that Shift Up was not taking shit from people, the IGO where they never saw a real woman. Yeah, no, that's stinks of fake outrage like this article. Dude, honestly, I noticed that in the article that he was basically saying like, oh, it's fake outrage and shit. It's like, you guys spent forever attacking the developers of Stellar Blade. Like, straight up going after them. Aftermath, remember this game that was had to change their background art or whatever on Steam because their game got delisted? He says, it's strange to see the gamer writing this article. We shared an article they wrote about our situation yesterday, which has a very different tone. On ours, they are supporting our stance against Steam trying to censor our page. They had no issue with us having a woman in a bathing suit on our Steam page and in-game, which is good that this is the way it should be. But now they write an article complaining that they want to have attractive characters and revealing outfits. Pick a lane. We are glad they supported us, but now they attack a dev for not wanting to have politics in the game and saying they are trying to please a small outspoken group. These articles are written by 2 different people, so please do recognize that the person who wrote ours likely doesn't share this view and isn't responsible for this article. People under the same umbrella can have different views, not if they're writing for the gamer. And that's James Lucas who wrote that. I'm pretty sure he's on board with what's his face over there, Jade King. Let's see, but I think it gives off a bad message when one member is okay with revealing outfits in games and supports it, and the other dev attacks it. Or attacks devs over it. Anyway, like we've said before, don't make your games for these people. They are the loud minority here. Yeah, no, 100%. More istophobe? No, dude, Cage, you're right. Honestly, the reality is pushing stuff on people makes people more phobic. I am far more racist. And I'm not racist in the term that it's like I see a black person, I'm like, I hate black people, or see a woman, or like again, people get called sexist and you hate women. And first off, there are very few true misogynists. People don't understand misogyny. There are very few true misogynists these days, and they're not men that are married. Misogynists are men who hate women, okay? Hate them. Sexist, racist, all these terms, they lose their meaning. Believing in stereotypes and understanding that there are reasons to profile specific people, but in certain situations does not make you a racist. In the same way that thinking men are better suited for certain jobs doesn't make you a sexist. But the more they push these kind of ideas on people, the more you're going to be less worried about how racist you sound or how sexist you sound or how phobic you sound, right? That's what it comes down to. It's not a situation where it's like, oh, am I racist? I don't know. Maybe I'm becoming racist. I need to reevaluate. No. You're just waking up to the reality that it's okay to judge people based on how they act. People are going to act a certain way, and you have to judge accordingly. And that's called your bias. And your bias is going to be formed by the people you interact with and what you see online. That's just reality, you know. Got Stellar Blade for myself just now because I got upset with this segment. You know, honestly, I played Stellar Blade for a little while. It was one of those games that I have to go back and finish. Combat was pretty good. Definitely not something I want to stream because it requires a little bit more focus. Not something I can stream and chat at the same time. Gonna get it one day before Christmas? Hell yeah. Hasn't made more people istophobic, gave more people that call us istophobes a voice. And that's also a good point, too. So Savvy tweeted at Jade King, said, I'd like to know who the right kind of gamer is. Is it the group that showed up to play Dustborn, the anti-establishment game that got government funding? Is it everyone who showed up on Concord, the DEI game by DEI for DEI with DEI in mind? People that showed up for South of Midnight, like the protagonist, DEI hire for the mockumentary. Yeah, no. Oh yeah, that's right. The gal that that was hired for that didn't even play the game. Is it the right kind of gamer? The one that shows up from the Netflix animated adaptation of Larry Croft, which was quietly canceled. I think we get the point, right? The reality is they say the wrong type of group, the wrong type of people, when they don't even know what they're talking about. Oh yeah, no, everybody's on the spectrum these days. Everyone's got a touch of the tism, right? And I say that ironically because I'm related to people that may or may not have be on the spectrum, right? Mm-hmm. I remember that, H. Brown. And the thing is, a lot of these people too, if all the people who spent their time saying how great all these games that, God, it's always the whole, I can see myself in this character, It's like, okay, I get it. I'm a white guy. The majority of actors were white. Therefore, I don't understand what it's not like to not see yourself on the screen. Well, okay, very few actors at all in my entire life watching movies going all the way back to the 50s since I was born in the 80s remind me of myself at all. And it's not because I'm not white. It's because I'm not one of them. They're not me. They're actors. They're playing a character. It has nothing to do with whether or not I can quote unquote relate with that actor or person or not. Here, Minnesota has a lot of autism. Is autism caused by inbreeding? Honest question. I don't think it is. Take a minute to appreciate the view. Well, that's all you're going to get because I'm not buying this game. Okay. I have played enough games like this. And the problem is, this game, based on the gameplay that I've seen, it looks like several of the indie games that I've gotten free keys for through Keymailer that I've played, I've streamed, and I'm like, this game sucks. It's dog shit, right? Oh, no, I actually have no problem with tall people. I get along great with tall people. But I do like Stallone better than Schwarzenegger. Stallone never said screw your freedom. Schwarzenegger did. So Schwarzenegger is dead to me. If I ever see him pop up on Twitter, I just say screw your freedom, and then I that's all I ever say. Trying to appeal to Sony fanboys, they defend it because it's an exclusive. Yeah. Their previous games are terrible. So we're gonna go and watch the trailer. Okay, so this is the 3-minute 9-second trailer for this Code Violet game. We go from talking about, sexy women and how bad it is that they've attracted the wrong type of gamer. Here we have Code Violet, an indie game from a studio that this is their third release, all right? Oh, Cage, I don't care. At this point, he's dead to me, man. He doesn't get any second chances. He's done. Not to mention he married a Kennedy, so that was already bad enough as it was. Stallone, aka Rambo, yeah. Rambo, and then Rambo over Rocky, in my opinion. Rocky movies are good, but Rambo's better. All right, Code Violet gameplay PS5 trailer. I can't even believe this is a PS5 game. I'm not kidding, guys. This game looks awful. I'm gonna switch to this screen here. Hang on, I think it's muted. No, we're good. Here, I'm gonna give you guys a better view. I'm gonna get rid of the chat for a second. Since I know that this game only has one thing to offer. Yeah, a whole lot of ass. So, here's the thing. I've seen this trailer a few times, bits and pieces of it, no pun intended. And something sticks out to me, no pun intended. the movement looks like every other asset flip game that I have seen, whether it's an indie game or just random games that pop up on Steam. And I'm like, the game looks like dog shit to have to play. No, the dinos don't have booty too. And it's not even like a Resident Evil kind of stiff way with the fixed camera where you kind of get used to the fact that it's like you're running around and you should be running faster than you are. It just is probably made by one guy. That's probably true, Gulag, but there's this in the back of my mind, unless this game's like a $10 game, and in which case you can't really complain about it. There has to be a certain level of acceptable enjoyment out of a game for me to be like, well, only one guy made it, only 3 people made it. Fine. That's all well and good. But if you don't have fun playing the game, if the game looks nice, okay, the character looks nice, the dinosaurs look nice, but movement is like painful to just even try to move around. Is just YouTube choppy and a tad laggy? It might be laggy. I don't know. Strange thing is this game wants to be console only. I thought the releasing on console costs more money. I don't know. I've seen this B-level game reskinned as other pervert games. Yeah, no, game looks like ass, no pun intended. Yeah, Tekla, the shooter from Brown University, oh my god, that's something I should have made a video on my other channel. Whole lot of stuff in that one. There's apparently... He is also being blamed for the shooting of an MIT professor. This guy was in the field of some Israeli defense contractor. You're gonna have to look it up. It's crazy the connections between all this stuff. It's insane.
Okay, tell me where I need to go.
Okay, I have not seen her blowing up the compies. That's a pretty satisfying looking shot right there.
Did you know about this?
I'm telling you guys, I have played games that the trailers were advertised exactly like this. Was anybody here when I played that Sophie game on Halloween a couple years ago? Oh god, that game was crap.
I've got this.
Oh, I don't know, Everett. It's crazy. It's called Code Violet. So you would imagine this is being advertised to this kind of guys, the kind of people that would be willing to play games like Stellar Blade and stuff. They want a hot protagonist. They want good violence and combat. They want something that's going to be satisfying for a lot of different reasons. For me personally, I think it looks like crap. Like, if I'm being honest, guys, like I said, I've played a few games like this before, and it just looks terrible. Do I think it's the worst game ever made? No. But I've played a few games. There was one called Sophie the Echoes that was basically you get dropped into the beginning of the story where you're playing this woman. She's got like paranormal stuff going on. Every time you die, your character, like the skirt just flies up and shows her panties for no apparent reason whatsoever, and then you have to restart. It was the weirdest thing, guys. But the game was basically an asset flip that was broken from the get-go. It was terrible. If it's cheap, you try it, like sub $10. Yeah, again, you can have a lot of fun for $10. Not even saying that in like any sort of weird way, but like, you know, $10 for a game that's maybe not optimal, whatever, it's fine. It's all good. But that being said, Stellar Blade actually shared this and said, is anyone interested in Code Violet? It features a stellar-looking protagonist, dinosaurs, guns, and violence. Would Stellar Blade fans play this? I will put it on my watch list. I'm like, dude, come on, man. I could boot up Stellar Blade right now and show you in 5 minutes why this game is not a tenth as good as Stellar Blade. It just doesn't have the same potential, okay? Here in Eastern Europe, you can actually have a lot of fun for $10. I don't want to know. Don't even go into that. I don't want to know. You just don't, okay? So all of this being said is following a lot of the drama from Team Kill Media from a couple months ago. So if you guys don't remember, there was a post put out by Team Kill Media when somebody asked them, is the game going to be on PC? Okay. And they said, no, we're not releasing our game on PC because we respect our voice actresses and we don't want people to ruin the artistic vision and the dignity of our voice actress by modding the game in pornographic or vulgar ways that we don't agree with. Now, I'm somebody who, two things. I don't use pornographic mods and I don't mod my games at all. I modded one game in the last 5 years, okay? So as far as modding goes, I'm not the target audience for modding. I'm a vanilla player, okay? I love modding. Modding is awesome, but it's not something I do. So for me, it wouldn't have any effect because I wouldn't be modding the game anyways. I've tried, simple mods that don't require much work to install, and like those third-party programs work like shit. Okay, so it's just not worth my time. That being said, I think if you own a game, you should be able to mod it in whatever way you want. You know, pornographic, not pornographic, whatever. I don't care. If you own the game, you should be allowed to modify it in whatever way suits your taste. Now, there's obviously exceptions to this, things that, you know, cross a line into illegality. But in terms of single-player games, I have no issue with how anybody wants to mod their game, because if they own it, that's their entertainment. You paid for it, it's now yours, right? I'm a PC gamer, I don't mod shit. Yeah, I mean, I swear to God, modding is such a great idea. It's something that is so useful and so creative and so awesome, and I just never do it. I just don't. Plenty of games are cashing in on this theme, no doubt. You can tell as they purposely do that camera view in the clip to show the arse. Yeah, no, they're trying to do that. Yeah, dude, honestly, Cage, it got robbed. It didn't even get nominated for RPG. Even if it didn't win RPG of the Year, Tainted Grail should have been at least nominated. I know from enough people who've said what an amazing RPG it was. It should have at least been nominated. So, that being said, they have since responded to Pirate Nation sharing that response. Apparently, they took it personally. Pirate Nation just quote tweeted them and said exactly what they said, because that's what Pirate Nation does. They take posts from other people and post it. That's it. They then deleted this after playing the victim. Team Kill Media came out and said, we have deleted the post that offended a certain group of very hateful people. We don't typically delete our posts because we don't believe in cowering to the mob. We remain unaffected by the hate we have received over the years. We invest our own money and time into our games. Like us or hate us, we focus on the positive. However, it has become absolutely unacceptable. Certain individuals are attacking a talented professional we had the honor of working with. Talking about their voice actress. We believe the vast majority of gamers respect Elena Wise, I don't know, and want their games to have such talent to voice the characters they will enjoy playing as. Now, the voice actress is this gal right here. I don't know. I didn't see anybody attacking her. Her posts are locked now, where like this one here, you have to be have her following you to reply to it. She says, I try to keep it positive on here, but I need to say something. I'm really proud to be voicing my first title character and excited about Code Violet. If you're not, that's fine, but if you're going to comment on my post with insults and hate, you're getting blocked. She only got 5 comments, and then she immediately locked it, guys, okay? I've never gotten so many too bad it's going to suck comments on literal posts where I'm just celebrating a huge personal achievement. Like, it's baffling to me, so let's keep it positive, or please keep scrolling, and thanks to all who have shown support. Apparently, this is them, you know, hating on her. I don't know. I have not seen the posts, so some of them could have been awful, but I haven't seen them. What is janky? Conan Exiles? Oh man, mod the crap out of it. PC fan for real when I realized I can mod HL1 in 1998. That's how I ended up creating stuff in the first place. Yeah, if she has been receiving actual personal attacks, that's not cool. You know? That again, I'm never for that, but I don't know that that's actually been going on because these guys have been acting like the world is, coming after them, and it's like, you guys are... I shared a screenshot. So somebody had shared some screenshots of their previous games, right? And on one of their replies, I shared the screenshot of the 40% positive reviews on the game. Basically, it was like a dog shit game, right? In fact, let me look this up. I think it's called Quantum. H. Brown, I think you saw that one. It's called Quantum something. I can't remember the name of the game. Hang on. Team Kill Media. Quantum Error. So they have made 3 games. They've made Quantum Error. They've made Sun and Bone, and Kings of Lorne: The Fall of Ibris back in 2019. Okay. Let me find the Metacritic review for one of these. Hang on. Sun and Bone has a 6 out of 10 on Steam. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Naturally attractive women do actually have it easy and hard at the same time in life. There are plenty of women who get hated on just for being pretty, and there are plenty of women who have easier lives because they're pretty. It's kind of crazy how you kind of get both into the spectrum once in a while. PS game that blamed the Series S. Hey, good morning, Empress. Team Kill will blame low sales and toxic PC gamers who didn't buy a non-PC game. The one I want to look at, though, is this Quantum Error one, because this is the one. This is the one I think that got really horrible reviews. Let me find this. Quantum Error. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is the one. So it's got generally unfavorable. Whew, based on 16 critic reviews, a score of 40. Generally unfavorable based on 80 user reviews, 3.4. Too ambitious for its own good, tries to polish the least interesting aspects. The result's something that feels repetitive and unsatisfying. Feels like a game the team had a passion about. Good ideas wrapped in here. So it's sad. It sounds like if they had enough money, they could have actually made a better game. The worst PlayStation exclusive of all time. I think this is the worst. Okay, that person just repeated themselves. Worst games I've played in 40 years. I know it was made by a team of only 4 devs, but it looks and plays like a PS3 game. Extremely wooden. Movements clumped. So I think something is very telling here, that their previous game that got really bad reviews is also kind of being pilloried a little bit for having bad movement, right? Something that I was saying about this Code Violet game is the movement looks terrible. It looks really stiff. Yeah, it's a big oof. 80 Admiration 28. What are we talking about? Attractive women. Yeah. It is funny. Like I said, but the thing about, okay, there are small percentage of men who hate on attractive women, and maybe it's that small percentage of men that are actual incels, right? The whole, they can't find a woman because they're generally unappealing. No one wants to be around them because they're just obnoxious and rude and just whatever. My mom has dated men like this, and I'm like, yeah, this guy is an asshole. Why would you even want to talk to this dude? Just unbearable. Then you have the women that are awful to other women because of their appearance. And that is something that I think doesn't get talked about enough. Women are their worst, like their own worst enemy. Women are so mean to other women. It's crazy. Especially women are catty and backstabbed her. She doesn't work anymore. When she did, it happened all the time. Yeah, exactly. No, jerks, I get it. I'm not saying that for all women it's perfectly easy. I'm saying for some you can kind of capitalize on it. For example, like look at the Twitch streamers, okay? Attractive woman sits there, eating chips and gets subs. Man sits there eating chips, 1 viewer. There is a certain truth to that. And that doesn't make their life easier, but it does make certain things easier, You women are women's worst enemies, yeah. And men are men's worst enemies too, to be fair. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so everyone should come together to appreciate her, not try and chase her out of a bright future in games. And again, I agree with that. Nobody should be trying to chase the voice actress out of the games industry. That's stupid. Where maybe one day she could take the stage at the Game Awards, and we remember fondly when we were shooting dinosaurs having a blast as the beautiful Violet. Well, based on the trailer that I just watched, I'm going to say that's not going to happen. And it's not because I want the game to fail. It's because it doesn't look like a good game. I'm sorry. Again, some of you guys might try this Code Violet game, and I'm not going to tell you not to, even though these guys are acting like assholes. I just don't think the game looks good, if I'm being honest. We are privileged to have her be the voice of Violet, and there is no world where she should be subject to even one hateful, disgusting comment. As a company, we have the right... Here you go. We have the right to choose how and where to sell our games. We have strived to answer public questions honestly, but when some disagree with our responses, they launch attacks. Oh my god, stop pushing on the door. Hang on, I gotta stop the cat from pushing the doors in. Ivy. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Just hang out here for a bit. Come on. And now she's going to want back out. Just watch. Let me see here. But when some disagree with our responses, they launch attacks. Others use our comments for rage bait, creating posts and videos to stoke controversy and profit from the hate. At this point, we're just never commenting on the garbage thrown at us. And if you do on our page, you are getting blocked. Wow. Our page is for our fans to come talk with us and each other. So basically, no criticism, guys. No criticism. Okay. Yeah, no, dude, these animals are... just, if they see a door closed, they have to have it open. If they go through it, then they're going to want back out again. It's not even at the level I would call indie games, much less AAA. And when it's on the cat. Oh no, this is the little girl cat. She gets her way. She 100% gets whatever she wants, right? So here's the thing. I think a lot of people pointed out, and I agree with them. There's 2 parts of this situation with the modding thing. I don't think it has anything to do with them being like, don't do sexual mods with our already sexualized game, right? I think it's the reality that they want to sell future skins down the road and have the potential that they can mod their game, or, not mod their game. They can sell DLC and different cosmetics without the modders getting in the way. And then there's the fact that on Steam, you have that 2-hour return window after leaving a negative review. So it's very likely that these guys are worried that if they put the game on Steam, people will play it for an hour, be like, this is shit. They'll refund it, leave a negative review, and that'll be the end of it, right? I don't know what the policy is on PlayStation. I know it's a lot harder to get a refund on your game on PlayStation than it is on Steam. Oh, it's okay. She found the computer case box, so she's up there now. Graveyard shift is for the cat. Dog does the 9 to 5 annoying. Yeah, that's pretty much the truth. Although the cats get started running through the house chasing each other, and then the dog jumps off the bed and chases them too. So it's kind of like a cluster, over here. Yeah. So no, I think that there are 2 legitimate reasons why they don't want to do this. So it says, our page is for fans to come talk with us and each other, hear what's new, or give input so we can make our games better. Violet has all the extra outfits because so many asked for them. There have been countless constructive criticism comments that we have taken and implemented. We fully value the feedback we get from those who are going to or have played our games. This page can be positive, so we're not going to just shut up and not talk with so many great people on here that are the whole reason Team Kill exists. There are those who want us to cower, fail, or go out of business. We're not going to. We'll continue forward, committed to our work and undeterred. We have many games in the works, and the haters are not getting rid of us. We have almost 10 years invested, and we're here to stay. I did, so no pleasure for them in standing up for yourself. Mods require an audience, though. There's no mods on a game nobody wants or can't play. They should be happy if their game had mods made for it, as implies a fan. I mean, Jerks, that is a great point, and you may not like the mods that somebody uses in your game, but if they're going to mod your game, it means that they actually want to play your game. What did DB say? What did he say? Oh, you know what I forgot? I'm completely retarded. I forgot to set live chat instead of top chat on my secondary browser. Hang on a second. His joke pickup line. Speaking of the cat pushing the doors, do you know the best pickup line at the gay bar? May I push in your stool? Oh my god, dude. I only have one sound effect on here. Let's see what it is. Oh, it was the perfect one, too. All right, perfect. I have not even reset my Stream Deck recently, so I'm glad it was that one on there. Good God, man. All right, so like I said, they're blocking anybody that even criticizes them, like in the most tame way possible. They're being trolled. They don't realize it. I mean, whether they realize it or not, I don't understand how this approach helps anybody. Okay, I really don't. Kind of like that still might be, dude. Yeah, you're cut off, man. No more. Just no more. J Viper says these guys are screwed. People are telling them bring this PC and stop attacking your customers, and they just can't deal with it. Potential customer, sell this on PC so I can buy it. Them blocked bigot. I don't think that it's that simple. I've seen better examples than that, but again, that's kind of like the most basic version of that, I guess. Smash says they did it. They blocked me for this. Good luck with your game. I'll never buy a single product from you. We'll instead be cheering on your inevitable demise. Oh, he said this might be the worst way to handle your feelings on social media as a studio. Might as well just go ahead and block me now. Well, if you tell them to block you, they're going to block you. Veridark says, so Team Kill Media said they wouldn't launch Code Violet on PC because they didn't want modders to over-sexualize their lead character with vulgar mods. I call it the fact that they were selling lingerie skins in their deluxe edition, which has been removed probably to damage control, plus the trailer is filled with bikinis. Then they blocked me for calling out their BS. Great way to lose out on sales and damage your image. Yeah. Again, I think it's fine if they have their own opinion about what they kind of content they want in their game. The problem is by saying we simply don't want these kind of mods existing, you cut out the entire player base of PC, which then limits you to only what you can sell on console. And let's be honest, guys. The customer's always right. He asked to be blocked. I mean, to be fair, he did say block me, right? Victim advertising, I'm telling you. Somebody said it's they're trying to, it's not fake outrage. It's more about outrage marketing or something like that. Victim marketing. The wife is watching you. Yeah, no, she's doing some stuff in the kitchen. Meanwhile, little cat is sitting over here cleaning herself on my computer case that I haven't even unpacked yet out of the box. So she found a cardboard box. She's happy. Milking the controversy, yes. No pun intended there. Daka Daka says we don't want vulgar mods. Put the protagonist in bikinis and booty shorts. LMAO. And actually, this is where I said it's actually we don't want modders to make outfits that we can't profit off of. Now, here's the funniest thing, guys. This is a pretty fantastic ratio here. This guy says, it's a single-player game, dumbass. And I said, oh, you're right. No single-player game has ever had microtransactions. Dude says, yeah, if they're live service slop, most subribla horror... I don't know what he's trying to say here. It's either a pre-order bonus or in-game unlock. And then I said, so you admit that single-player games do, in fact, have purchasable cosmetics? And he didn't reply. Tell wife you said hi. If she comes back, I'll let her know. Let me see here. Dude never heard of Ubisoft. He thinks because, the obvious choice is like Assassin's Creed or those kind of things. That's like, well, those are AAA. It's like, I said single-player game microtransactions, and you said that doesn't exist. Like, Ostrich is strong with that one. Hey, Hook. Most Sabula, I can't even pretend to pronounce that one. Okay. We've got this one here. It's already getting to be 11:20. All right. I'm going to skip over a whole bunch of stuff because this actually took longer than I realized. That's crazy. That's crazy. Here we go. We can talk about the bald woman. Subribla equals Survivor. Stop engaging with mentally challenged. They already have it rough as it is. Was it supposed to be Survivor? Good God. I mean, there's typos and then there's whatever the hell that was. All right, guys. let me close this poll so we can start a new one, okay? All right, so wow. As a PC player, how likely would you be to purchase an exclusive game on Epic? 71% of you said never. And remember, I don't even get to vote on these, so that's pretty telling. That's crazy. 0% for Very. That's yeah. About what I expected though on the Very. All right. Here's going to be a fun one. You guys better not disappoint me on this one. And if you don't understand, I'll explain it in a minute, but I think most of you will get it. Here we go. To be fair, most live service games are single player because the player base is usually solo. It might as well be single player. Here in my country, we'll call her a Chiskop woman. What does that even mean? They're owning the chuds and drinking our tears at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday at work. I'm okay with them demanding overtime mainly because they were already paying for wasting the company's money, either that or fire them. See, okay. When I hear the word crunch, and for some weird reason, the word crunch only comes up in conversations around game development. Nobody considers the food industry. Nobody considers restaurants. Nobody considers movie theaters. Nobody considers shopping malls. Nobody considers retail stores of any kind. Nobody considers production jobs. Nobody considers warehouses. Nobody thinks about so much Amazon workers in the Christmas season. Nobody thinks about UPS. Nobody thinks about delivery services of any kind. You never hear journalists lamenting crunch like you do from games journalists. It's like for some weird reason. Why do I feel like I knew that truth? I feel like I knew that Chiskop means bald. At least I'm pretty sure I've heard it in reference to that now, and that actually kind of makes sense. Crunch time means the management messed up and the employees had to fix it. To be fair, a lot of it does come down to management, but there are certain times a year. There are certain times a year in many industries. The one that I work in particular, very seasonal, where no matter how much you try to prepare ahead of time, you will always have moments where you are running nonstop because you just don't have enough time. That's just a reality. There are a lot of jobs, especially seasonal jobs, where you can only prepare enough ahead of time that you're going to still be slammed. You're going to be busy nonstop for quite a while, right? I'm a product designer, graphic designer. Trust me, we have crunch. Suck it up, Buttercup, where they're just pussies. Yeah. You know what crunch is when 3 of your colleagues get sick on a Monday morning and you have to do a 12-hour shift as an industrial technician doing 4 people's work when an audit is happening. Oof. Speaking from personal experience there, Vernum, huh? Nestle's Crunch from the vending machine, and that's a super rare thing. Oh, God. Nestle Crunch, guys. I'm not a big just plain chocolate person, but a Nestle Crunch, that's satisfying, man. That's fantastic. That was the last straw? Yeah, I can imagine. So Naughty Dog making overtime mandatory for intergalactic developers. So from Insider Gaming here, Naughty Dog is forcing the developers working on Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet to work overtime. Oh no. This according to a new report from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. In a story published on Thursday afternoon, Schreier states that the studio behind games like Last of Us and Uncharted has been pushing its staff to work long hours to get ready for an upcoming review of the demo by its parent company. It said that requests began in October for staff to work at least 8 extra hours per week, with it being logged via spreadsheet. Hang on. 8 extra hours for a whole week. So if you work 5 days a week, you're talking less than 2 hours extra. How much do these people work? Like, how much does the average person at a AAA you guys, you watch all these videos, these TikToks from these women that get jobs at like Meta and different tech companies where they have their juice bar and they have their catered lunches and they have their hour-and-a-half yoga relaxation meditation things. It's like, how much are they already working? 8 extra hours a week? That's not that much, right? Let's see. 48 hours. It's not good to overcook, but if it's live or die, you're overwork. Yeah. No. And here's the thing. I have worked the 70 plus hour weeks before, getting paid virtually nothing. So that sucks. Okay. I'm not going to say it doesn't suck, but there are plenty of jobs where if you're getting paid good money and you have to work 60 hours a week, if you spread that across 6 days a week, of work, that's not that bad. I've worked plenty of times in my life, 6-7 days a week, and not having a day off sucks, but at least having one day off, you get time to recuperate. The FBI. No, oh my God. I knew that there was going to be something about this. All right. Okay. Schreier states that the studio behind games like Last of Us and Uncharted has been pushing its staff. It said that the request began in October for staff to work at least 8 extra hours per week, with it being logged via spreadsheet. This was done to make up for time lost due to missed deadlines. The employees were instructed not to work more than 60 hours a week. Staff were also told to return. Whoa, wait. Okay. Hang on. Wait. So they're not asking them to work the full 60. They're saying don't work more than 60. So it could be they're working 25 hours a week and they're going to add 8 to that. They just don't want them to work more than 60. Staff were also told to return to the office 5 days a week for this period, up from 3 previously. Oh my God. Sending some employees scrambling to find alternative care arrangements for children and pets. Okay. All right. As somebody who is self-employed, as somebody whose wife homeschools and is self-employed, works from home, takes care of our house while I'm at my actual job away from home, you cannot work productive, like you cannot have max productivity and be home with your children. So if these employees are working 5 days a week, 3 in office, 2 at home, and those 2 days they are home with children and pets, they're not working. You might try to work. When you come home and you're trying to work from home, you might have the best intention to work. You might be able to be like, go into your office, close the door and say, please guys, leave me alone, let me get my work done. But you're not going to. It's not going to happen. Like, oh my God. Like how the world worked for many centuries before. Yeah. So crunch for them is when they have to go to work and can't just F around at home. Yeah, basically. Yeah. People fighting at my company to get extra hours because we earn so much more. These complaints by game devs tell me something is sus. It seems weird, doesn't it? Sounds like they want them to work 60, but not more. I mean, maybe that's what they were trying to say. Maybe that's what they're alluding to. Like, hey, you can work up to 60, but you can guarantee there's some people who probably aren't even working the 48 plus 12. Your own business, even then, you probably have to allocate space for it. Otherwise, your brain will go into playtime mode. Yeah, Vernon, that would be my biggest issue with having a home-based business. In different aspects. For example, one time my family's business was on my mom's property. She bought a house that had property and we built a gigantic work building, right? Built a building, from scratch. And we had our business in that building, but it wasn't in her house, it was detached. So it kind of sucked. I had to go to my mom's house to work for a long time, but at least it was a separate building from her house. That being said, if I had to work from home, I'd get nothing done. Like absolutely nothing done. At my house, that happens when old man's coding. I'm here, but not here. Yeah. The feminist cults are also mad about the Lords of the Fallen. I heard the lady comment on the local radio. It was a stereotypical non-gamer take, though. Huh. Opted to not give out bonuses this year, claiming we didn't hit our sales quota this year. Meanwhile, all the salespeople work from home, so I wonder why. Best friend works from home all month. He's doing nothing but playing Arc Raiders because it's slow time of year. Can't tell me he's productive. Right. So same thing can happen. Same thing can happen if I go to work and I'm, spending more days in the office than the warehouse. And I'm kind of like working on stuff that needs to be caught up on. But then you're in the office by yourself. It gets kind of cold. You turn the heater on. You don't want to go in the warehouse and you go, okay, I'll work on this other stuff. But you put a YouTube video on, you're listening to it, you're distracted. Okay, I'm going to go get a snack. These things, when things aren't busy, you lose productivity. It's not just like, okay, we can slow down because, it's not the crazy busy time of year. That's fine. That's cool. That's time to recover. But there's now time to get the other things done that you don't have time for the rest of the year. The problem is you slow down too much and you're going to lose incentive to get those other things taken care of. So then the rest of the year, you're still scrambling and now you have these other things you never actually prioritized. It's this ongoing problem. And a lot of people have this, and it's worse if you're working from home. The employees were instructed not to work more than 60, to return to the office. Those who spoke to Schreier under the condition of anonymity are worried that if there's already mandatory overtime over 18 months away from release, it might get worse in the coming months. As of writing, Intergalactic is scheduled to release in mid-2027. Sony and Naughty Dog have also declined to comment on the claims. Yeah, no, if these are DEI studios complaining about the crunch, you know that they're not working from examples from the day in the life videos. 100%. Exactly. I watch your weekday streams while I'm at work, and I always get all my crap done. Yeah, no, that's a good thing, DB Wild. That means that you can actually like prioritize. So I try to do the whole thing where you pop the headphones in and you just listen to whatever you're listening to. To be fair, a lot of times I'll just listen to music, and that makes it a lot easier. Yeah, especially if you hate your job because you're working on realizing someone else's dream. Yes, that is exactly it. So this dude here, I don't know who he is. Reese Kiwi Talks Riley. Gamers' demands on how games are made are super unrealistic. Get mad when devs crunch to get a game out faster, yet you get super mad when games are delayed. First statement right here is complete dog shit. Do gamers get mad when devs have to crunch? Let's take a quick look at the poll. So far, it's leading 62%. Hell no, do your job. So, do the vast majority of gamers give a shit how you get the product made? No. If you go to a restaurant, I said this already, but let me kind of rephrase it. If it's dinner time, you've been stuck in traffic, you've got an hour to drive still to get home, you stop at a restaurant, you're hungry, you're angry, you're frustrated, you just want to sit down and get some food, you get seated, and the kitchen takes 2 hours to get you your food. Are you sitting there going, oh, I feel so bad for those poor chefs. They must be working so hard in the kitchen. Those poor cooks have just had it so rough today. No, you're thinking, I'm starving. Get me my damn food. You know, you're thinking right now, I'm going to walk out and go to Taco Bell because I'm not going to wait any longer. All right. YouTubers get mad, gamers don't. Why would a YouTuber get mad about crunch, though? I mean, maybe if they're like a industry shill, but like, what about crunch would make anybody who's not the game developer who's experiencing crunch be mad? That's what I don't understand. The statement itself doesn't make any sense. Gamers get mad when games are delayed, but to be honest, I would rather a game get delayed and be good when it releases. Gamers get mad when a game is delayed and it comes out and it's still shit. I think that's a little caveat that he has there, you know? We get mad when they say a date and then they push the date out 3 times. That's fair. We used to get mad because EA used to crunch every game they made and still came out like crap with bugs. Right. Amount of time game developers lie. I don't know why anyone takes their crying about crunch seriously. Yeah. I'm up to 80 hours after this article. In my honest opinion, if you don't like it, there's the door. I'd up it to 80 hours. Yeah. I could see disappointment if the studio promises a set release date, then has to go back on it. Yeah, I mean, okay, so there is a certain amount of this where I would say I've seen, like, for example, Kata was a little miffed when Kingmaker got delayed. Kata wasn't happy. Kata was like, man, I've been looking forward to this game, and like a week before it's released, now it's getting delayed, and he's pissed about it. I'm like, yeah, but dude, you want the game to be good when it launches. If the developer says the game's just not ready yet, rather than having a Cyberpunk situation where they shove it out there and it's shit, I would rather you hold back and say, you know what, let's just give it a little more time to cook and make sure that it's the best it can be at launch. I just think that that's a better way to go. Detached to Retina, am I right? I was working as a bar cook on Monday night for wings because I was the only person making drunk. God, that's rough, dude. That is really rough. Yo, Smeg, dude, with the freaking 5 gifted memberships. Why didn't it actually do the alert sounds? Oh, there it is. There it is.
Absolutely not.
There we go.
Do I need to be liked? Absolutely not. I like to be liked. I enjoy being liked.
Oblivion, I 100% agree with that. I don't think it's a good practice to always have your employees stressing out. But it is definitely something that happens in every industry, and sometimes there's only so much you can do about it, you know? Dude, Smeg, man, I appreciate the hell out of you, buddy. Thank you so much. Let me see. I'm not about to not buy a game over crunch. Yeah, Oblivion, exactly. Again, every industry. You go to Costco, you go to any grocery store that has a bakery around Thanksgiving, and you're going to see them scrambling, making as many pumpkin pies as they possibly can. Are you going to go walk in and say, oh no, I feel so bad for those poor bakers making those pumpkin pies? No, you're just going to buy your damn pie and you're going to go home. You know, you're just gonna do your thing. You don't hear anybody going, oh, the poor crunch these people are experiencing. but we work so hard on DEI game. Exactly. You know, Smeg is the man. All right. Get mad when devs use AI. Now, that is true in certain aspects of development to speed up how games are made, but say that games take too long to make. This is a solid, legitimate argument right here. Because the same people that will go, oh my God, if you touch AI, if you use any AI at all in your game development, if you own a computer that has any AI software on it, then your game is dead to me. But then they'll complain when a game takes 7 years to come out. That does happen. 100%. They're trying to play the sympathy card to get people to buy the slot product. Yeah, but DB, we've seen that same thing where they try to be like, but they worked so hard on this game. Okay, you're not entitled to my money. You could work your ass off moving that rock over there and back 150 times a day. I'm not going to pay you for it. If it floats your boat, go do it happily. But I'm not going to pay you for something that I didn't want you to do. You know, the lack of reward that sucks. Yes. Quarter 4, all I got was 2,000 bonus and that a boy pat on the back. I felt insulting. They made it. Yeah, that's rough, dude. And that's, you know, QC, that is why so many people go into work for themselves. And it's not easier, but sometimes seeing that lack of recognition is kind of that motivation some people get where they're like, you know what, I'm going to go do this for myself instead.
This many dollars worth.
I think it all depends on the game. I've heard a case of the Smash Brothers Melee. The director stayed all day working, but the game turned out.
Gia, thanks for the 10, buddy. Appreciate you, man. It very well could depend on the game, but it's not going to make me. The difference is, it's not going to make me like sad or sympathetic either way. I can appreciate if they work their asses off and make a good game. It makes me more likely to buy it and support them financially. I'm just not going to be sitting over here like, you know, playing my little violin for them when every industry on the planet has times of the year where the productivity and the workload increases, and you just kind of have to suck it up and deal with it. You know, I've had so many times of the year where I'm like, okay, I know today is going to be a long ass day, and I tell the wife I won't be home in time for dinner. Feed the kids something. I'll grab food on the way home, and she knows that time of year, and that's why she comes and helps me at work sometimes, because she knows sometimes we all just have to dig in and get through the busy season. You know, anti-AI for my job, it ruins your ability to debug. However, for art, it's awesome. Okay, that's the thing, Hook. A lot of people are like, if you touch art with AI, you know, you're Satan. It's the craziest thing. Yeah, true crunch doesn't necessarily make it good or bad in the end. Sure. Yeah, exactly, QC. It just happens sometimes, you know? Sometimes it's unavoidable, you know? Let me see. You can't have it both ways. It's just not how the industry works. Shiraku Gaming saying crunching to release before the PS6 so they can remaster it. Shot at the PS fanboys there a little bit, I think. Somebody with a Wolverine game profile picture. You don't know what you're going to get with these people sometimes. Says, I'm seeing Naughty Dog get heat for crunching and taking too long to make games, but Larian and Sandfall also receiving hate for using AI to alleviate their workload. The online gaming community is infested with outrage farmers and virtue signalers. I think that's a fair assessment. I've been called an outrage farmer, but to be fair, I think that's not a bad assessment. Again, I think there are aspects, and I was going to get into this with some other stuff from certain developers I've talked about it, but there's not enough time for all that tonight. There are certain things where you could use AI in a game where it could have a very useful effect. For example, Daniel Vavra, Warhorse Studios, Kingdom Come Deliverance, talked about the amount of lines that they had to write for their game. And he's like, look, if we could use AI, not in the main story, not in the main subtext of all the conversations and all the dialogue that has to happen for the game to be what it is, but in place of, okay, this voice actor has said 1,000 lines. Now I'll use the AI instead of recording him grunting, instead of recording him like sighing or breathing heavy or whatever. The AI can fill those things in, or create new conversations, instead of repeating the same conversation over and over again, create new dialogue that doesn't have an impact on the story, but expands a little bit to make the characters seem more fluid and natural in their conversations. There's aspects to it, right? I mean, that could work, as well as things that help speed other little menial projects up, right? Could it still have a negative effect? Absolutely. I'm not pro or anti-AI. AI just is, right? That's just kind of my view. It's just a thing that exists now. Not much I can do about that. It's unfortunate. There are eggs that you farm organic, like no chemicals. TV, man, whatever. Oh my God. You've heard about this guy? I mean, I've never come across his post before, at least not that I recall. Economics decide who's worth listening to. Fair. Insignificant counter should be ignored. AI is not the problem. We use it all the time for increasing resolution. Oh, yeah, exactly. I use AI for certain thumbnails, not like to create. I don't do the AI thumbnail thing where I create an image out of nothing and then you upload it as a thumbnail. I think I've done that like once, maybe twice in the last 2 years. But I'll use it to like clean up an image, Prep the stream so when you're done. Yeah, absolutely. AI is not the problem. Larger canvas instead of airbrushing. It's not what people think of Grok art, right? He is surprisingly reasonable here. There's something wrong with the Matrix, I guess. Sympathy, empathy card more than the logical reason merit card these days. Me smarter than that, yeah. So this guy here, quote tweets Kayla Elizabeth. Kayla Elizabeth is one of these people that simped really hard for Dragon Age Veilguard, as I do recall. Says, sorry, but mandatory overtime should be illegal because this is crazy. I live in an at-will state. Even as lefty lunatic as Washington is, it's an at-will state. You can get fired for pretty much any reason in this state. You want to say overtime's illegal? There's the door. See you, bye. Naughty Dog has been known for horrible crunch in the past. Unfortunately, seems like they haven't changed. So this Puerto Rock guy says, people need to stop coddling game developers as if they're privileged children. Plenty of jobs demand long hours. Hell, some jobs are downright dangerous and get done by people every day. As long as there is proper compensation or pay for the work, stop crying. I think, again, that's a fair take. And there are plenty of jobs. Look, this goes back to the gender pay gap, guys. We've talked about this before, right? The gender pay gap. What is the gender pay gap? It's not men get paid more than women because vagina. The gender pay gap exists because men are more likely to work overtime. So for the same job, a man is more likely to make more money because they're more likely to work more hours and get more overtime pay. That's the truth. That's the reality. That is a documented thing. You still have people, smart people. I've got a brother who's in the military. He's an officer, been in the military army for like almost 15, 16 years now. And I'm pretty sure he believes in the gender pay gap. And I'm like, dude, actually, DB Wild, I wasn't even going there, but that's funny how that worked out. Week once where I had an awkward schedule working both Sunday and Saturday, and boy, did they at least pay for it right. I mean, look, at least you guys get overtime. When I was a kid, teenager, early 20s, working for my family, I worked more than overtime for most people, and I didn't get paid shit. So as soon as you generate a meme with Grok Mutt environment, yeah. No, that was the gal I've talked about in the last stream who's like, AI affects the environment and black people most. And I'm like, holy shit. AI evil, black people most affected. Oh my God. That's my point. If it's a DEI dev team, that means it's women complaining about crunch. You're not wrong, Wagon Burner. That very well could be. Men are more likely to be like, I'm just going to do my work. I like the extra money. Men are motivated by money. Okay. They just are. Men are driven by the cash, the green, the thing that they can then spend on more things. Okay. Gender pay gap is that women can't bust ass like men, therefore they don't earn the same. That black cat. There are certain industries that are better suited for women, and then there's the vast majority of them that are better suited for men. And I mean, again, Jordan Peterson kind of turned himself into a meme the last couple of years. I haven't listened to him in many years now, and he honestly just kind of fell off my radar. But he did talk about that, where men are less agreeable than women, which is why women don't ask for salary raises or increases or raises as much as men would. A man would be like, hey, I've been doing this job for a while now. I'm not getting paid more. What can we do about that? The woman, she'd be like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. According to Dems, black people don't know how to use a computer. Yeah, oh my god, dude. The video of the black guy walking in like an ape and throwing the laptop. Oh my, I want to find out who that guy is and give him a freaking like medal because that was the funniest video ever. Pay and a half for overtime I'm in. Damn, that's pretty good. Even when I work for the city, they refused to pay overtime. Damn. Didn't they push the BS about black people experience pain more than other people? I'm sure it was a pain medication. Dude, there have been a lot of things where, you know, X, Y, or Z happens, black people most affected because more racism, you know? It just is what it is. All right, what is it? Almost 11:45. All right. I think we are going to go over and raid Empress because I did have other topics to pull up and look at, but I can save them for a different stream. They're not going anywhere. I'm not streaming tomorrow, having a sleepover. Kids are having some friends over. Sunday, I probably won't do much. So back on Monday. Monday will be our normal thing. Ex-bosses and they agreed to raise my pay. It's about having the balls to do it. Yes, but Empress, most women won't. Most women will be more agreeable and less likely to be as confrontational. And my mom, I come from a woman that she's wired like a man. She is aggressive and confrontational and pisses off everybody. Okay, my mom has had that trend for a long time. And almost 70 years old, it hasn't changed, okay? She's wired a little bit differently. But that's not, most women are more like my wife, where she's just more, less confrontational and more likely to try to be friendly and kosher than aggressive, you know? Yeah, she's type male. And then some. Oh, the cat is coming over here on the computer now. Hey, psst, psst. Come here. Yeah, you came over here, now you're going to be stuck over here. So this is the little 6.5-pound cat, and her brother, I think, is now 13 pounds or something. He's gigantic. Not competition at all, just polite and I bring it up. All right, cool. I mean, that's better than being aggressive about it, because nobody likes that, to be honest. Should ask for raises. We shouldn't have encouraged them, but apparently still on average. Yeah, I mean, it's just... Look, here's the thing. You cannot try to placate an entire sex of people who want the opportunities that men have, and they get the opportunities men have, but then they're less likely to treat it the same way men do. If you're going to play in a field of men, you need to play by the same rules. And if you're not going to play by the same rules, then you shouldn't do it, you know? We'll get to cover. Yeah, she's gotten a little plump. Love how fluffy. They both are. It's the British short hair breed. They're just... Now, they still shed like crazy. I don't know. Somebody tried to convince me that they don't shed that much. These cats shed like crazy, man. Ask for papers in my filled in resignation, ready to hand in. That's actually not a bad way to go, Avernum. That is a solid strategy, my guy. That is a smart way of doing things. I forgot. Yeah, so I think 64% said hell no to your job. I'll go and end the poll. Let's see. Where did we end off with this? Anybody bleeding heart out there? It's okay if you are. I don't mind. Oh, that's weird. I don't know where the poll went. Whatever. All right, guys. We'll be back on Monday. Hopefully you guys all have a great weekend. I know we got Christmas coming up. Maybe, I was thinking maybe we'd do a Christmas Eve stream, but I don't know if that's going to work or not. What day is Christmas, guys? Is Christmas on a Thursday? I feel like Christmas is a Thursday. Depends on the studio. Okay, it's 22. Hey, 22% say yes, they care. See? All right, well, some of you guys actually have a heart. Oh, man. All right. Let me see. My boss on my first career did the fake 2 weeks resignation. It worked. Damn. That's actually kind of crazy that works like that, but it doesn't do me any good now because I'm my own boss and that there's the good and the bad that goes with that. But that's nuts. Where's Empress at on here? Oh, there we are. Okay. All right, Empress, I got that redirect schedule. They'll be coming your way. I am going to go and rest up. I need to watch freaking Fallout at some point, guys. I need to know if the second season of Fallout is actually as bad as some people are saying it is. Because I thought the first season was pretty decent, but oh well. It's not like my life depends on everything. I like when my shows that I watch aren't complete dog shit. All right, Hook, Empress, Oblivion, Smeg, Wagon Burner, Jerks. Who else we got in here still? DB Wild, Avernum. Let me scroll up. Cage, of course, Cage. NS, if you're still out there lurking. I think I got everybody. There might have been a few that I missed. I apologize if I did miss you guys. You know it's not personal. Oh, of course, Lugia, buddy. You guys all have a great weekend. I will catch at least some of you. Oh, yeah, H. Brown. How could I forget you, man? You're always liking my shit on Twitter. I can't leave you out. I got you, Lugia, and Wagon Burner, of course. All right, guys. I'm going to get some sleep. Have a great weekend. I will catch you all on Monday.